Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
I'd like to welcome you all to The News on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley. We start with this. 2 Savannah residents are now without a home after an overnight structure fire in the city. Savannah Fire says their crews were dispatched just before midnight last night to a house fire on Lorraine Court. Firefighters saw smoke from the roof when they arrived. Now, the fire was put out in just about 20 minutes. Nobody was hurt, fortunately, but again, 2 residents were displaced. Well, for residents in Long County, today is your chance to make your voice heard before leadership decides to potentially raise property taxes. We're taking a live look right now at the Long County Commissioner meeting, which started about an hour ago. It's their 3rd and final public hearing on a proposed tax increase. You can see it's being held at the Long County Board of Education building. Now, county leaders are considering a millage rate that will raise property taxes by nearly 21%. A house valued at $100,000 would be taxed nearly $130, and a $200,000 house taxed at nearly $260 if the increase is approved. After this morning's meeting, commissioners will then meet to set the final millage rate. This is something that we do have crews covering. We will keep you updated once a decision is ultimately made. Again, I believe the commissioners are in session right now, but we've seen a couple of people go up through public testimony throughout the morning. So this is something we are certainly keeping tabs on right here at WTOC. Well, today, a special election over in McIntosh County over a zoning ordinance is taking place, and it could potentially impact Sapelo Island. It's about bigger houses being built in the Hog Hammock community. Now, you may recall county leaders changed the zoning rules for it. Gullah Geechee people are concerned the change would price them out of their homes, impacting the area's history. They gained enough signatures to force a countywide vote for a referendum to throw out the new rule. All polls are open today from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And looking ahead, there are some big changes you'll need to know as we approach this year's tax season. Those tax forms should be arriving in your mailbox just about any day now. There are higher standardized deductions now for single filers. It's gone up $750. It's now $31,500 for married couples filing jointly. Another change, there's also a cap on how much you can pay in state and local taxes, depending on adjusted gross income.
The old law was a $10,000 cap. Now you can get anywhere from $10,000 to $40,000 in 2025.
Eligible workers who depend on tips can now deduct up to $25,000 from their taxable income as well. Well, happening today, Governor Brian Kemp will announce another initiative to improve access to education for all Georgians. The governor is expected to give more details on a new education tax credit partnership between the state and the IRS. Today's expected announcement will come less than a week after the governor's final State of the State address, where he mentioned a strong focus on education. Staying in state news, new bills at the Georgia Capitol could potentially change how your kids learn. From vape detectors to gun safety to banning phones, lawmakers may take many different types of action this session. State reporter Abby Kasouris shares what parents have to say when it comes to these bills.
Parents are weighing in as new school safety bills hit the Capitol. Everything from vaping to gun safety to cell phones. They're asking the question, will this protect kids?
For Carmen Beltran, the debate over cell phones isn't theoretical. It's happening in her 9th grader's classroom, and even he admits phones can get in the way of learning.
If you want to pay attention in class, yeah, you shouldn't have your phone.
After banning phones for younger students, State Representative Scott Hilton now wants to expand that policy into Georgia's high schools.
We're hearing it's just a distraction to learning, which is why we send our kids to school. Not only learning, though, it's mental health, it's public safety.
Samantha Halliburton's daughter, Omni, is years away from high school, but one proposal already has her attention. A bill that would require firearm safety education in Georgia classrooms starting in kindergarten, teaching children what to do if they encounter a gun. Halliburton says she wants to be a part of that conversation.
Overall, yes, if parents could opt out for it, that would be amazing.
According to the Center for Disease Control, firearms are the leading cause of death for children and teens ages 1 to 17 in Georgia. The bill's sponsor, State Senator Rick Williams, has worked in the funeral home business for 53 years. He says one of the hardest parts is meeting families who've lost a child in an accidental shooting.
You see a gun, you do not touch it. You go get an adult.
Another bill parents are watching would require vape detectors in Georgia high schools. A University of Georgia survey found 1 in 5 high school students has used a vaping product.
The kids are vaping in school. They're going to the bathrooms. It's becoming an epidemic.
The detector sends aerosol particles tied to nicotine or THC and alerts staff in real time. Funding could come from grants or the state's budget.
I think the detectors are a great idea.
Parents say they'll be watching closely. They want safer schools, but also want a say in how that happens. There'll be chances for people to weigh in when those bills are read before a committee. At the state capitol, I'm Abby Kasouris.
Well, in health news, flu season's here, and health experts say we're really approaching another uptick in cases. And right now, the CDC is putting children among the groups at the highest risk of getting the flu. This all comes as flu-related deaths among children hits 32 so far this season. The CDC says 90% of those deaths were not fully vaccinated. And hospitalizations among children have reached a 15-year high. Dr. Frank Esper with the Cleveland Clinic says the best protection for children 6 months and older is to get the flu shot.
Children, especially under the age of 2, they're pretty small. And when they're still small, you get something that's just so inflammatory, like influenza. When it gets into your lungs, it causes a lot of inflammation.
He also recommends washing hands often, using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, and wearing masks if anyone in your house has cold symptoms. Well, in sports news, 16-0 and national champions, Indiana University, a program many thought would never get there, just did. In his second season, Curt Cignetti turned around one of college football's most historically struggling programs. The Hoosiers went from perennial underachievers to undefeated Big Ten champs, then stormed through the expanded playoff to claim the first national title in school history. They beat Miami last night 27-21. Here's what Coach Cignetti had to say after the confetti fell.
We're 16-0. 16. National champions at Indiana University, which I know a lot of people thought was never possible. It probably is one of the greatest sports stories of all time, but it's all because of these guys and the staff. So proud of them, and it's a great night.
From doubted to undefeated champions, Indiana's miracle season ends with a trophy and certainly a legacy. A night that Bloomington, Indiana will never forget. Have a ball, Bloomington. I'm going to nerd out just for a second as well. Incredible game last night. The first half was a little slow, but that 4th and 5 call with Cignetti and Mendoza, that 12-yard run into the end zone where the quarterback took 2 shots, that was a true Heisman moment. Really showed why Fernando Mendoza was able to win, the Heisman Trophy. Just the grit right there, especially doing it in his hometown. I saw his high school was just like a 15-minute drive from where they played. Of course, Miami playing in their home stadium. So just incredible storylines. It's been a really unique college football playoff, especially with the expanded playoffs this year. So wonderful game last night. All right, well, check this out. An extremely rare spotting near Hilton Head this past week. A local fisherman spotted not 1, but 2 North Atlantic right whales along with their calves. Ryan Brogan says he was on his way to catch some fish last Friday when he saw something he had never seen in the water before. He saw what he described as one of their flippers in the air, almost as if it was waving to him. He stopped to capture the moment, then he says he saw another one in the distance. He sent the video to NOAA a couple of days later, who identified the whales as Champagne and Yucca.
When I spoke with the gentleman at NOAA, He told me I should buy a lottery ticket because to see two mothers with calves that close together was almost unheard of. I just think it was an extremely lucky chance, and one of those things that happens maybe once in a lifetime, and really took it in and just absorbed the moment. It was terrific.
Really something else right there. Great video, too. The tracking data is available online, and we have added a link to our website at WTOC.com. You can just go ahead and look for this story. All right, well, we do have a couple of programming notices for you here on WTOC Plus. We are standing by for Savannah Mayor Van Johnson to give a press conference, of course, coming the day after MLK Jr. Day, where we heard from him a little bit yesterday during the parade that we carried right here on WTOC. But this is his weekly press conference. We do have a handful of questions that we plan on asking him about public safety, things such as that. This was slated to begin at 10. Sometimes they start a little bit late. I've been monitoring our camera feed, and it does sound like it will begin momentarily